Hello everyone, by the time you see this video, it is about to be opening day. I was hoping to get this video out sooner, but I've been dealing with a sickness that I just now overcame. With that said, in this video I'm going to be predicting the standings and records for each team and division. Also predict the awards and who I have winning the World Series. If you do enjoy the content analysis that I bring with Paint the Black Baseball, maybe you can give me a like and subscribe, but let's get into it. I do have a video breaking down my offseason grades for each team. There have been a few signings since then that have factored into this, like Blake Snell going to the Giants, or Jordan Montgomery signing with the Arizona Diamondbacks. But overall, check those videos out if you haven't seen them for a more thorough team-by-team analysis. I'm going to be starting with the American League and go from East to West and then name my playoff teams. So in the AL East, in 5th place I have the Boston Red Sox finishing 73-89. With their major free agent signing Lucas Giolito already out for the year with a UCL injury, and they already were limited with pitching to begin with, it's going to be a rough year for the Red Sox. In 4th place I have the Toronto Blue Jays going 83-79. And I think they fumbled the momentum and opportunity they had with a mediocre offseason. If all things work out, they could sneak into the playoffs, but I see other teams ahead of them as of now. But if Alex Manoah and Vlad Guerrero Jr. can return to form, that would be a big reason I'm wrong on this prediction. In 3rd place, I have the Tampa Bay Rays going 86-76. And with the Rays, outside circumstances have made them lose their best player, and I can't blame them for that. It's just that the Rays started off really hot in 2023 and they weren't as good in the second half, and with it being known they're not the biggest spenders, they are one of the teams I could see having a drastic decline from 2023 and to potentially miss the playoffs altogether. They will be in the hunt, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rays miss the playoffs this year. In 2nd place I have a team that I think will have a redemption tour for 2024, and that's the New York Yankees. I think they will go 91-71. With Juan Soto now entrenched in that lineup, as long as Garrett Cole isn't out the full year, I do think the Yankees will be seeing the postseason this year. But in 1st place, I obviously now have the Baltimore Orioles. I have them going 101-61. They are just a stacked team with young talent. They won 100 games last year, and I think they do the same thing this year, as they only gotten stronger, adding Corbin Burns to their rotation. The Orioles are scary. Next up, we have the AL Central. In 5th place, I have the Chicago White Sox going 60-102. They are just an all-around bad team, but at least they traded Dylan Cease finally. I expect them to be sellers at the deadline and one of the worst teams in baseball. In 4th place, I have the Royals going 69-93. While they had a strong offseason, locking up their best player, Bobby Witt Jr. long term, the team still has ways to go if they want to compete for a playoff spot. In 3rd place, I have the Guardians going 79-83. They are just a team so cheap that their fans deserve better. They just don't have enough offense to me for them to compete. And until they spend a little more money, they will continue to be a mediocre team that just hovers around 500 or a little bit below it. In 2nd place, I got the Detroit Tigers, who I thought had a really strong offseason. I currently have them going 85-77. But this season will show if the Tigers' young players are legit or not. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Tigers buying at the deadline and be in the thick of the AL Central and wild card hunt this year. So that leaves my 1st place team, the Minnesota Twins, who are still better than the rest of the weak AL Central, but how much? I have the Minnesota Twins going 87-75. I think they have enough to weather the storm in 2024 and take the Central again, but if they don't fix their TV situation soon, they will get overlapped by these other teams sooner than later. Last up, we have the AL West. In 5th place, I have the joke of a team called the Oakland Athletics. They exist and will struggle to win over 55 games. Let's move on to teams that are actually trying. In 4th place, I got the down bad Los Angeles Angels going 72-90. With Shohei Ohtani no longer there, unless Mike Trout can stay healthy for a full year, there's not much to talk about with this team, and they should fade away into obscurity while the other 3 teams ahead of them compete. In 3rd place, I got the Texas Rangers. While they are the defending world champions, with their injuries to the rotation not going to be healthy till later in the season, I do think that holds them back from winning the division, but I do also think they are a playoff team. I have them going 88-74. In second place, I got the Seattle Mariners going 90-72. They just missed the playoffs last year by 1 game. I don't think that will happen to them this season. Given their money constraints, I like what the Mariners did this offseason, and given the lack of success by other teams' bad free agencies, I feel they will take a step up because of that. And in first place, I have the Houston Astros going 92-70. They're just an all-around complete team who just added Josh Hader. There's not much outside of injuries that can stop the Astros from winning 90 games. So my playoff teams for the AL will go the Baltimore Orioles, Houston Astros, Minnesota Twins, New York Yankees, Seattle Mariners, and Texas Rangers. Now I'm going to be covering the NL, and I'm going to be going from east to west as well. So in fifth place, I have the Washington Nationals going 61-101. The Nats are a part of a long rebuild, but on the bright side, some of their heavy-hitting prospects are looking to reach the majors this year, so there should be some hope for the fans with that. But it's not going to be with their record, as they are in a tough division, and they're going to be losing a lot of games. In fourth place, I have the Miami Marlins going 83-79. I did not like their offseason, and they have the potential to finish ahead of the Mets, but given the fact that the Marlins made the playoffs last year and the Mets didn't, and the Mets still spent more than them, goes to show that this ain't really a serious ball club to me. In third place, I have the New York Mets, who have the biggest payroll in baseball, but have a team that still won't win 90 games. I have them going 86-76. If the Mets are faltering at the break, I could see them trading Pete Alonso, but I could also see them being in the playoff hunt as well. It just depends on the health of the Mets, as they aren't the youngest team either. In second place, I have the Philadelphia Phillies going 93-69. The Phillies are who they are. They are a team that's going to win over 90 games. They're going to be in the World Series hunt. While the Braves have outperformed them in the regular season, they have outperformed the Braves in the postseason, as they have beaten them the last 2 times. We'll see what transpires this year, but regardless, the Phillies are going to be in that conversation. And obviously, with who's left, in first place, I have the Atlanta Braves going 104-58. They're just a complete team as always, and just like with the Dodgers, they have had sustained regular season success at this point. With them is, will they perform when it matters most with this squad? And that's obviously the playoffs. But we know they're going to get there, and we know more than likely than not they're going to win over 100 games. The Braves are just that good. Now we got the NL Central. In fifth place, I have the Pirates going 77-85. While I do think the Pirates are improving as a franchise, at worst they are a year away, and I expect them to finish fifth in a competitive NL Central. In fourth place, I have the Milwaukee Brewers going 79-83. I do not like the moves the Brewers are making personally, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them shop Willie Adames at the deadline if things aren't working well for them. But without Corbin Burns and the NL Central teams improving, this team might have a drastic decline in 2024. In third place, I have the St. Louis Cardinals going 83-79. They made moves to improve their rotation, but no way am I buying a rotation that old to carry the load for a full season. With all of their starters over the age of 30, I just think the other 2 teams ahead of them are better than the Cardinals, personally. In second place, I have the Cincinnati Reds going 86-76. I like what the Reds did this offseason to improve upon their good 2023. I would not be surprised to see them win the Central, but it could also be another year away. But regardless, they will be in that 80-90 win range club for me. And the team I have winning the NL Central this year is the Chicago Cubs at 89-73. The Cubs surprised people with an almost playoff appearance last year, but they fell off in September. I give them the edge over the other teams because I like their pitching the most, but the NL Central should be a fun race regardless, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Reds win or the Cardinals win, and hell, maybe even the Brewers. This is a competitive Central. Lastly, we have the NL West. In fifth place, we all know who I have. The Colorado Rockies. I have the Colorado Rockies going 55-107. They are a team that currently just exists. They haven't really had a direction in years, and with them being in one of the tougher divisions, I expect them to lose a lot more games because of it, and expect them to be one of the worst teams in baseball. In fourth place, I have the San Diego Padres going 81-81, with them trading Juan Soto and basically admitting defeat with the last plan. With the other NL West competitors adding talent, not subtracting like the Padres, I expect the Padres to finish fourth place, as their offense shouldn't be good enough to win more games. In third place, I have the San Francisco Giants, going 90 and 72. They could easily finish in second place as well. It just goes to show how competitive the NL West is. The Giants have had a very strong offseason with additions of Young-Ho Lee, Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, and Jorge Soler. With all of those additions, I expect the Giants to be in the thick of things and evidently make the playoffs as well. In second place, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks going 92 and 70. Coming off a World Series appearance, the Diamondbacks added to the core and should continue to be in playoff competition for years to come. Also, with them adding Jordan Montgomery this late, the sky is honestly the limit with the Diamondbacks. While I don't think they could win the division personally, that doesn't take away that they are an elite team. Honestly, all three of these teams benefited greatly from free agency, but the ones who benefited the most to me is the team that I have coming in first place. That would be the Los Angeles Dodgers, who I have going 102 and 60. We all know they win a ton of games in the regular season, but with adding more talent than ever, will they finally have enough to put it all together again? That's all the world wants to see at this point, because they have put together a stacked roster. So with that said, my NL playoff teams go the Atlanta Braves, the Los Angeles Dodgers, Chicago Cubs, Philadelphia Phillies, Arizona Diamondbacks, and the San Francisco Giants. Now let me get into some of my awards predictions before I pick who wins the World Series. For AL MVP, I'm gonna go with Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners. He had a very strong second half, and if he puts this together with a full season and him playing at a premium position in center field, I see him winning the AL MVP and the Mariners returning to the playoffs again. With NL MVP, I'm gonna go with Fernando Tatis Jr. With him missing so much time, I don't think he had his right rhythm, and the fact that he joined later in the season, with him having a full spring training and the season to get ready, I think he puts it all together and has an MVP type year. My AL Cy Young winner is Pablo Lopez of the Twins. With him having a K rate closer to 11 last year, he was filthy as a pitcher, and if he repeats that and has his ERA a little bit lower like the advanced numbers projected, the Cy Young will be his. And for the NL Cy Young, I have Spencer Strider. He was one of the most unlucky pitchers in 2023, and I don't see that repeating again for 2024. And he added a curveball to his arsenal, so he could potentially be even more filthy. And for AL Rookie of the Year, I'm going Wyatt Langford of the Texas Rangers. You couldn't go wrong with Evan Carter or Jackson Holliday, but with Wyatt having a strong spring training that he has, I'm gonna bet on that and see if it carries over into his 2024 rookie season. For NL Rookie of the Year, I'm going Young-Ho Lee of the San Francisco Giants. With him being an everyday hitter and batting leadoff, the sky is the limit. I see him being able to accumulate more value than Yamamoto. Now, as far as my World Series predictions, baseball playoffs have been so random lately. I'm gonna go with an orange and black World Series. I see it being the Baltimore Orioles and San Francisco Giants, and I have the Baltimore Orioles winning the World Series for 2024. Now, you guys let me know in the comment section, what of my predictions do you agree with? What of my predictions do you disagree with? Do you think I was a little bit too harsh on the team? Do you think I was a little bit too lenient on the team? Do you agree with my award predictions? Do you agree with my playoff teams? I would love to hear your feedback in the comment section. And if you made it this far, cheers to a 2024 MLB season, and I will see you in my next video.